Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Matt Wintz from Region Weather. It's Sunday night. It's time for Region Weather Live. I'm not sure how long I was on hold there at the beginning. It was taking a little longer than the connect. So it's just like in TV when you're waiting for a commercial to go on or a commercial to come back, and like, maybe the producer or director is a little bit off in terms of the timing. You just hold your smile. So I hope I wasn't doing that at the beginning. But anyway, happy Mother's Day to all of our region mothers out there. You deserve the credit every single day. Trust me. My wife is one of those, but it's one of those things where, today is the day that we recognize it. And I just want to recognize all the area mothers because I know you work hard and every single day could be a struggle and you're still getting through it and you're doing it and you're making some differences in a lot of people's lives. So we want to give you a shout out. We've got a lot to talk about here on this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. We obviously have that warm up that we talked about last week's edition. Remember, we were having our eyes on this all the way in the future. So that 7 to 10 day looking pretty accurate here. But boy, we're going to get warm this week. We'll talk how warm. I also want to talk about humidity. I don't feel like there's a lot of talk around that. So that's where we're going to start tonight. And then we do have some shower and thunderstorm chances. They're slim, but there are some chances. So we'll highlight which days. And then we'll talk long term and we'll answer your questions and we'll get you back to your Mother's Day festivities here on this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome in, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. It's so nice that the weather's turning. Boy, what a difference maker. Just smiles, 5-finger waves from everybody instead of, sometimes one finger. So it's really great that we've turned the corner around here. I just want to take time, as always, to thank our wonderful sponsors. They keep everything free. There are so many subscription fees with the modeling, the guidance, with how to go live here on StreamYard. They charge monthly to put the graphics together. All this stuff adds up, and these sponsors keep it free, and I couldn't be more grateful for them. So I want to start with Tiger Plumbing. They are our area plumber here in Northwest Indiana. They're fantastic. A lot of you have used them already. If you have any plumbing problems whatsoever, I know it's rare, right, that something happens, but please go to tigerplumbing.net and use them. You will be satisfied, I promise. They come out, analyze the problem for free, and they gave me a fun fact, and this really isn't a fun fact because we actually dealt with it here in our house. The leading cause of high water bills is a leaking flapper, right? That sounds like maybe something internal you need to get checked out by a doctor, but no, it's that little flap in your toilet. If your toilet runs just a little bit or you hear it running, that can add up to 20,000 gallons a month, which is just insane. We had that problem here and we got it fixed. And I'm not kidding, our water bills came down big time. We're like, oh, our water bills are pretty expensive. And boy, they came down. So it makes a huge difference. So if you have even something as minute as a leaking flapper or your toilet's running, have Jeff and Kim and team come out and check out your leaky flapper. They'll do it for free, which is awesome. They won't fix it for free, but they'll come out for free, and given gas prices, that's awesome. So tigerplumbing.net for that. Also, Grieger's, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They now have a $50 gift card that you get just for test driving a Ram. That sounds pretty easy to me. You can get a Target gift card, Amazon gift card just for test driving. Boy, Rams would be good for picking up some mulch, too, with all that spring weather that we have here this week. So check them out at Grieger's, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in the Valparaiso area. All right, so let's get to what we're going to talk about first, which is the humidity. This is where I want to start the conversation because it's going to be, we know the temperatures are coming up this week. You've heard all about it. We've talked about it. You're hearing it everywhere. But the humidity is also going to be coming up. And it's interesting to see the humidity on the weather map and how it kind of ebbs and flows. That low pressure that went by with all the rain last week, that low pressure is parking itself off the North Carolina coast. It's stuck. There's a high pressure on top of that. It's called a Rex block, which is a pattern that just basically everything gets stuck. And so we're stuck in the pattern, which is great. It's a good place to be stuck in. But at the same time, that low pressure is going to eventually come back in our direction later this week. So the rain we had last week, that same system is going to come back from the Atlantic Ocean. It's really incredible how this works. And you'll also see how the humidity here, and that's what I'm about to show, the humidity comes in here as we grab into the Gulf of Mexico moisture, and then the humidity gets pushed back as that low comes in. Everything kind of retrogrades, so pretty interesting as well. All right, so let's get into this. Here's what we're dealing with. The reds or the oranges and yellows, that's the tropical humidity where it's really humid outside. In between that, you get some of the darker blues. That's where you kind of feel the air, but it's not too bad. Today was great. We had very dry air in place still, and that's going to be the case until tomorrow. Things really start to change. So here's what it looks like as we go through time. You'll notice the humidity staying on the low side. You can see that little plume of humidity that we have out in the plain states. That will start to march our direction as we get in the daytime tomorrow. We measure that with dew point. So a lot of people like to look at the humidity percentage, which to me doesn't make sense. The humidity percentage is telling you how full your cup is compared to how much moisture the atmosphere can hold. That's confusing, right? You have some of your most humid conditions in the mornings, and it doesn't feel humid outside, right? So the number you need to look at on weather forecasts, and we like to talk about it as well with our Muggy meter every summer, is the dew point. All right. Dew point is the only number to me that matters. It tells you how sticky it feels outside. Dew points today, we're in the 40s. That's dry air. You don't even feel that. Tomorrow, you see, as we go throughout the afternoon, we go from 40s, which is dry in the morning, to tomorrow afternoon, you're going to start to feel that humidity for the first time. And it's not going to be thick, but you're going to feel it by tomorrow afternoon as this plume of moisture begins to work in here. By tomorrow night, you notice humidity values, dew points in the 50s to near 60. That's slightly humid. You've got the real humid stuff out towards the west. So becoming more humid throughout the day tomorrow. Tuesday's really the day that things really start to change. You notice how we go into the afternoon and evening, we get stuck in the 60 and even 70-degree dew points. Tuesday is when you're going to notice it's humid outside. You're going to say, what happened? We weren't like this for the last, 6 months or so. And this is going to be some summer-like humidity. 70s for dew points are pretty high, and that can be some pretty thick tropical air outside. So we turn really humid around here on Tuesday. Wednesday is more of the same. This plume kind of stays on us. But look at the dry air trying to work in from the east. It's kind of interesting how, normally you get the dry air from the north, but now it's coming in from the east, downsloping off the Appalachian Mountains. That's a drying process. So we try to get a little drier here on Wednesday, but the humidity will win out again. So Wednesday's looking pretty humid. And then Thursday and Friday, that's when we start to get some movement on that low out east. So Thursday, it looks like we start on the humid side, and then eventually all the humidity is really going to get kind of shoved back towards the west, and we're actually going to turn drier throughout the day. So Tuesday, Wednesday are really the two most humid days around here where we're dealing with thick humidity values, very summer-like. It'll be kind of a shock to the system, especially if you're out going for a walk or a run, whatever it happens to be. By Thursday, we start to bring some drier air in here. And you notice as we go through time, that humidity, that plume gets shoved back towards the west. So we're dealing with just a moderate brand of humidity. And then the front looks to come back our way this weekend. So we do turn more humid again on into the weekend. And then something clears us out, perhaps next Sunday, and that'll bring in some drier air. We'll kind of reset the atmosphere. So let's talk temperatures, because temperatures are the big story. This is the latest model run out as of tonight with some of the latest numbers. The numbers haven't changed a whole lot. We were sitting pretty today. Tomorrow's going to be a step up. We'll likely be up into the 70s tomorrow, if not near 80 in spots. You can see the euro here keeping much of us. I'm going to go full screen so you guys can see us a little bit better. Euro keeping much northwest Indiana in the mid 70s towards the upper 70s in the afternoon. But I would say near 80 in our southern locations, likely mid and upper 70s elsewhere. Tuesday, remember, we add the humidity. We also add the heat. Tuesday, temperatures are likely going to be in the mid, even upper 80s. How about that for a turnaround? But you add the humidity to that, it's going to feel more like the 90s at times. I mean, this is some pretty decent heat, especially for early May. It doesn't look to be record setting. We're going to be close to records, but it doesn't, I mean, this isn't out of the ordinary. It's just, it doesn't happen all the time in May, and especially for multiple days. So that's what's kind of rare about this. Wednesday, we get back to the heat. We're still in the humidity, more of the same. If you live close to the lake, though, we're going to have a light enough breeze, I think, by Wednesday that will have a little cooling effect from the lake. So we may stay in the low 80s, lakeshore counties, but other than that, we're in the mid and upper 80s elsewhere. And remember, Thursday, we bring down our humidity. We also bring down the heat a little bit as everything gets kind of scrunched back towards the west. So we'll be back into the low 80s on Thursday. It'll feel a little bit better as that heat really gets out in the plains. And then that frontal boundary comes at us this weekend. So we're going to stay warm in the 80s on Friday and the 80s on Saturday. And then for the weekend on Sunday, that looks to be the day of change, says the Euro. The GFS agrees with some kind of system in here by then. and that would cool us down to the 70s. As we go through time, I don't see any frost or freeze potential the rest of the month as it looks right now. That's some good news. There's one time frame we need to watch, and that would be sometime next week. See the system off towards the north. That cold air is awful close to us. It's not quite here, but it's certainly going to be something that we have to watch as we get on into that time frame. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is our thunderstorm chances. I know your app is saying dry. We talked about this last week. I hesitate to keep us dry all the days. And the reason why is there's going to be showers and thunderstorms popping to our west each and every day on the low level jet, which is something that comes up out of the Gulf of Mexico. It's sinking winds off the Rockies. All that combines to form those explosive thunderstorms out in Iowa and the plains that you see all the time in the late spring and summer. Very typical pattern. Our problem is we're really close to that boundary where those storms will be popping. We're not expecting any storms to develop on us, but we may get some leftovers off of the activity off towards the west, and models don't handle that well. So it's the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame that I would watch. I would probably throw isolated thunderstorms in the forecast. Again, I'm not seeing a lot of chatter around that, but this is kind of the setup all week long until we get that frontal boundary in this next weekend. That's really our next chance of rain is on the weekend, unfortunately. But you can see as we go through time, things are quiet, and then you get these big pops. You get the storm center up here in areas of Minnesota, and then more storms pop here. This is Monday night. It usually happens in the evening hours, and everything stays west on the models. But, I don't know. You just got to watch. There's going to be more storms popping here. The model doesn't quite go as far as that. I'll show you one more take on this. It's just going to be something we need to keep an eye on. That's all. Is it going to be a washout any day? No. But some of these high clouds may get in here, and we may have some leftover of a thunderstorm that was well to the west on the Tuesday night and Wednesday time frame. So here's the Euro. You can see it's got storms popping Monday night into Tuesday morning. There's the leftovers. They kind of fade. Here's Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. And look at that. The Euro is actually bringing a cluster of storms perhaps into Illinois. That would be Tuesday night into Wednesday. And that would be the time frame that I would maybe hesitate to go completely dry. The rain would clear, and then we'd have more storms pop into the west, and here comes our frontal boundary for the weekend. As of right now, not a washout, but thunderstorms around both Saturday and then Sunday, says the Euro. You can see how that moves through. And then we turn a little bit cooler after that. It does look like we turn cooler next week, but by cooler, I don't mean as cold as we've been over the last few weeks. Likely highs in the 60s, maybe 70s. I hesitate to even say 50s at this point. I think that's going to be hard to do. So we're looking mild from here, and that's why we gave you permission to plant over the last Region Weather Live that we did, okay? All right, so that's it. I hope that helps. In recap, we'll answer your questions, so go ahead and ask them if you've got them. In recap, we've got some heat this week. We know that, but it's going to come with humidity. So tomorrow, humidity values go up throughout the day. It's going to start comfortable. It'll end kind of uncomfortable, but not too bad tomorrow. Tuesday's when humidity really ramps up, so it's going to feel uncomfortable Tuesday. Wednesday, it's going to feel uncomfortable, like tropical outside. Thursday, hopefully we get some drier air in from the east, so it'll go back down to just kind of humid. And then for the weekend out ahead of that system, it's going to be humid, but not uncomfortably humid, if that makes sense. And then we're talking numbers, I think, upper 80s for most of these days. Could we crack 90 degrees Tuesday, Wednesday? We could. I think the humidity will help to keep that temperature right around 88, 89. We'll see how it happens, but certainly is going to be hot this week. All right. Also want to thank all those folks. We did a Region Weather merch sale on Friday just because it was just crummy outside. And I just want to thank everyone who supported us through that. Our vendor got all the orders, and I believe they're already sent, if not going to be sent tomorrow. They'll be shipped out, T-shirts and everything you ordered. So I appreciate that for sure. Okay. All right. Let's get to our questions, and then we'll get you on to the rest of your Mother's Day evening. I hope all the moms joining us had a wonderful day and you were celebrated and loved today for sure. JK, thank you for that. Happy Mother's Day to my wife. Yes, she enjoyed her day. We're about to have a nice evening together, so that'll be fun. Yeah, Adrian, I'm so glad to bring you good news this time. Seriously, I feel like I've been Debbie Downer every time we meet. For sure. That's just crazy. Hi, Richard. Hi, Jeff. Good evening, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Terry, I feel you. It's about time we get this weather for sure. And we are going to dry out. That's why it's really such a good time to plant right now, to get things in the ground. They'll have some good growth this week. If you're transplanting anything from inside that you've been growing, perhaps under a grow lamp or anything, flowers or your herbs or tomato plants, whatever it happens to be, make sure you give them that general transition for at least 2 days where you bring them out in the sun, you take them back in at night, because if you throw them out in that 90-degree heat, some of your plants are going to struggle with that. So just keep that in mind. Jeff, you're welcome. Richard, Memorial Day a little bit. Oh, annual canoe trip. That sounds fun, buddy. That sounds awesome. It's a little too early to tell at this point. We can tell we're going to turn cooler probably in the May 16th through 22 range, but that's not quite to Memorial Day yet. My guess would be if we turn cooler that range of time, we'll probably turn warmer towards Memorial Day again. But again, too early to tell. There's not a lot of science behind that. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining us here. Lynn, you're welcome. Have a wonderful evening. I think you're a mama, so happy Mother's Day to you for sure. Maxwell, there's a lunar eclipse the 16th of May. Hopefully the weather will be clear. We're getting to that point where, we're going to have that frontal boundary in this weekend. So to that point, we'll probably have some clouds around at some point. We'll see. It's going to be a close call. I can actually show you. I don't know why I'm not showing you. So this would be, here we go. This would be the 16th. This is when we get that frontal boundary through. So if the rain can clear out, yeah, we would be okay. But boy, that's going to be a close call on that. So stay tuned for that, Maxwell. Mary, thank you very much. I'll let her know for sure. I'll let her know the love. I appreciate that. All right. Okay, well, I think that's it. There's not a whole lot to talk about other than heat, humidity, and our storm chances. We've got a pretty summer-like week ahead of us. I hope everyone's ready for it. Just remember, stay hydrated. You know the rules. People hit that so hard, like make sure you're drinking water. Well, make sure you are, right? Construction workers, all those that work outside, it's certainly going to feel like summer this week, okay? All right, I appreciate you joining us on this Sunday evening. We'll next chat on Wednesday evening. Again, I mentioned last time we've got some things coming down the pipeline. And there's going to be some changes to when we do these because I've got a schedule change at work, which is going to be pretty cool. So there's going to be a lot more content planned. So I'll just keep it at that. And again, I appreciate all the folks that have reached out asking for sponsorship. We are almost filled right now. There's a couple other spots I've got. So if you know of anyone that wants to advertise locally, have them reach out. But other than that, we're all set. We're good to go. Okay. So I appreciate that. Again, happy Mother's Day to all our region mothers, and thanks for joining us tonight. And have a wonderful Sunday evening, and enjoy